अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नारायण परा वेदा देवानारायणाङ्गजाः नारायण परा लोका नारायण परामखाः नारायण परो योगो नारायण परं तपः नारायण परं ज्ञानं नारायण परा गतिः। तस्मात् एकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयपूज्यश्च नित्यदा। जयति जगति मायां यस्य कायादवस्ति वचनरचनमेकं केवलं शाकलय्य ध्रुवपदमपि यातो यत्कृपातो ध्रुवोऽयं सहलकुशलपात्रं ब्रह्मपुत्रं नतास्मि। सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः। We are seeing the Narada Bhakti Sutras, and we saw the Rupa of Bhakti. It has to be Parama Prema, and what we experience by Parama Prema is Amrita, that is bliss, Ananda. That's what we experience when we show Parama Prema towards Bhagavan, and that is the Bhakti. Now, in this Sutra 4, Sage Narada tells about the phala for that experience. Actually, Sutra 4, 5 and 6 describe the result, what we get by experiencing that Amrita, that feeling of ecstasy or bliss. Sutra 4. Yat labdhva bhuman siddho bhavati amrito bhavati tripto bhavati. By attaining that, a man attains siddha, that is perfection. Amrita, immortality, he attains immortality. And he attains tripti, that is satisfaction, contentment. When we show that parama prema towards Bhagavan, we experience that amrita, that state of bliss. And by that, when we experience that state of bliss, the result of that is we are always satisfied. Tripto bhavati, amrito bhavati, we become immortal, and siddho bhavati, we become perfect. So the result of that amrita is perfection, immortality, and contentment. Yat labdhva. What is that yat labdhva? Yat labdhva means by attaining that. What do we attain? When we attain that amrita feeling, we get this perfection, contentment, and immortality. Contentment means that is tripti. When we experience or when we have any dissatisfaction, when we are unsatisfied with any desire, or basically some people are not satisfied with whatever they get. When we get, at least for some time, we will be satisfied. But some people, they are not satisfied with whatever they get. They find a fault in that. They do not recognize it. Oh, I need something more. Only I got this. Even when they get the greatest of the awards, they tell like this. They feel or they think that it is an humble feeling, but it is actually the feeling of dissatisfaction in them. So this is dissatisfaction. When we have this dissatisfaction, when we are not content with anything, then we find fault in everything. We find imperfection in everything. Then that itself will make us a very dull and ignorant person. Our ignorance will shine by our dissatisfaction. Actually, this satisfaction contentment, that is tripti, and amrita, that is immortality, and siddhi, that is the perfection. All these are the inherent nature of this jiva. But by time, it is covered by layers and layers of ignorance. When we remove that ignorance by showing Parama Prema towards Bhagavan, just like using the scratch card, when we show that Parama Prema towards Bhagavan, then that in real nature will be revealed and we become tripti. We become satisfied, we become see perfection in everything, and we become immortal also. So, what we are, we become that. Actually, this world will have so many imperfections because it is not Bhagavan. It is the manifestation of it is the manifestation of Prakriti. So definitely it will have some imperfections. But when we only notice the imperfections, then we can never be content. So that we have to understand. If we want contentment, then we must train our mind to see perfection in everything, thinking that it is all the creation of Bhagavan. So there is no need to see perfection or imperfection in it. The nature or the prakriti is as it is. It is only our mind which give value for it. So taking that point in mind, we must train our mind to see satisfaction or perfection in everything, or otherwise we will never be a content person. Why do we feel content when we experience Amrita? Because that bliss is incomparable. That cannot be compared with the bliss or happiness which we experience in our daily life. Can never be compared. If that is 100, that bliss of Bhagavan is 100, then what we experience in our materialistic life, even in a highly successful person, it will be only 0.5%. So it can never be compared. When we experience that bliss, then we will not feel any imperfection outside. Suppose when we are in a happy mood, then we do not see any wrongdoings, or we do not find a fault in others because we are content with that happiness for some time. After some time, when that fades away, when that happiness fades away, back to normal, we find fault with others, we find fault with the situation, we find fault with all and everything. So that feeling of contentment will come only when we experience the bliss of Bhagavan. If we experience any happiness from the worldly matters, that will not give us contentment. It may give contentment for some time, but it is too temporary. So to experience that satisfaction, which is the basic thing, that contentment, then we experience, we do not see any imperfection anyway. It will be perfect. Everything will be perfect. We ourselves find perfection in ourselves, and we will be content person, and we will become immortal. Because when we link with something, then we attain that nature. When we experience that immortality, bliss nature of Bhagavan, then we also become that. So that is the result of this Parama Prema towards Bhagavan. And gradually, what a person feel is, he will feel that I am not this body and mind. Because this body and mind is the product of Prakriti, and it always has imperfection, not content, everything. But now I feel content when I connect with Bhagavan. So I am different from this body and mind. And he gradually feels that this body and mind are outside him or external to him. So this is the pinnacle of bhakti. It is at this point bhakti changes to jnana. Bhakti becomes jnana. So this is what Narada Muni is expecting from a bhakta. Actually, a bhakta does not go after this blissful feeling or this contentment feeling to experience that contentment or to experience that bliss. He doesn't worship Bhagavan. He worships Bhagavan without, he cannot separate from him. So he shows that Parama Prema towards Bhagavan, And when he is in that state, he experiences that feeling of bliss. And all this thing, that is tripti, siddhi, and amrtatvam, everything comes to him naturally. It is conferred on him. He doesn't go after it. That's the great difference between some people, that is, some bhaktas, they take, not the true bhaktas, I suppose, but they take some medicine or drugs or some leaves like that to bring them to that exalted state of bhakti. That is not pure bhakti. That is not spiritual bhakti, and that is what not Sage Narada is telling also. He is telling about that pure bhakti where a bhakta connect with form of Bhagavan and merge in Bhagavan, and by that he experiences that amrita feeling, that is feeling of bliss. And the side reaction of all that is tripti comes to him, contentment comes to him, and satisfaction comes to him. He doesn't see any imperfection outside. He feels that he is perfect, and immortality also comes to him. But all that, when we use some external drugs or tablets or anything, and to make bring this feeling, then it is temporary. That is not spirituality. It is temporary feeling. So Narada doesn't tell about that type of exalted feeling or that type of inebriated state of bhakti. He tells about when we worship Bhagavan, when we show that parama prema towards Bhagavan, then that amrita we will experience amrita. By that we become content, because nothing in this world is equal to that, will come equal to that contentment feeling. So he always be in that content state. He becomes immortal by that, and he is a perfect person. Here siddhi means perfection, not that powers which a yogi earns by his yogic powers. It is not, does not mean that. And here tripti also means that tripti, contentment, always content in Bhagavan, not that tripti feeling which we experience when our desires are satisfied. So one has to differentiate between that. And the perfect example of all this is the Gopikas. They are always content in spite of their difficult way of life. And they are village people. They had their own problems. But still they were so happy, content, perfect, and they lived in immortality, blissful feeling. And the next sutra is Yat prapya na kinchit vanchati, na sochati, na dveshti, na ramati, no tsaho bhavati. Yat prapya, by attaining that, na kinchit vanchati, he desires for nothing, na sochati, he never grieves, na dveshti, he never hates anyone, na ramate, do not rejoice also, na utsaho bhavati. No utsaho bhavati means he doesn't want to be active anymore in this materialistic world, because he wants to live in that feeling of bhakti itself. Yet praptya, by attaining that. Yet praptya means by attaining what? By attaining that amrutatvam, by showing parama prema towards Bhagavan. In the previous shloka and this shloka, only one word is different. That is yet labdhva in the previous sutra. In this sutra, yet prapya. So both means the same. By attaining that amrutatvam, or by experiencing that feeling of bliss, na kinchit vanchati, he doesn't desire for anything. Why do we desire for something? Why do we have desires? Because we want to experience happiness out of it. Because of that, we have wanted desires. We have desires. Suppose if I want a new mobile phone, by that way, I experience happiness. So I want that. And not because I really need it. I want to experience happiness, so I spend money and get that mobile phone. But this is temporary. When I see some other product or some other object, I want that too, thinking that I want to experience happiness. So when that a person, a bhakta, is always in that blissful feeling? Does he need anything external to fuel that? No, he is always with Bhagavan and he is in that feeling of bliss. So he doesn't have any desires, he doesn't want anything from the outside world because his bhakti itself will give him all that happiness, and not only happiness, thousand times more than a blissful feeling. He is always in that feeling. So kinchit vanchati, he doesn't need anything external. Na sochati, he doesn't grieve also. Why do we grieve? Because we may experience failure. We may not have experienced success for a long time. We experience a failure, then we feel worry or grief for it. Especially when others get it and we don't get it, we feel more pain. When someone insults us, our behavior or our work, then we are in grief. We worry for it. When we have some body pain or some disease, we worry for that. We grieve for that. Or when something unexpected happens in our life, we cannot take that shock. We grieve for that. But a true bhakta, apart from all this and above all this, he is in that state of parama prema state and experiencing that amrita of Bhagavan, that feeling of bliss in him. So whatever happens to the body and mind, the grief or the sins, papa karmas can affect only our body and mind. It can affect our body or it can affect our mind. But by this experiencing bliss and parama prema, we are above this body mind consciousness. So all that will not bother us. Whether it is some grieving situation for our body or for our mind or the surrounding us, it will not bother us because we are with Bhagavan. We are in an elevated state of bliss, in an elevated state of bhakti. So, na sochati, that true bhakta, he never grieves for anything, and moreover, he knows about the real nature of all that. He knows that what this world is worth for. He knows about what is the worth of this body, mind, or the situation we live in. So he is above all that. Na sochati, na dveshti, he never hates anyone or he never considers anyone as enemy, because first thing is he is in that elevated state. Suppose when we are in a very good mood, we forgive everything. Even when someone has done any bad karmas to us, we forgive him. That we will say that let his karma will take care of him. Why do we tell anything to him? So like this, we ignore him or just forgive him. That's why on some great days like Independence Day or Republic Day, the government itself forgives the sinners and or the criminals and release them from the prison out of happiness. So for that materialistic mundane life itself is like that. When we are in that exalted state of bliss, we forgive anything. Even when someone yell at us, we just forgive them, thinking that it is their ignorance. We are always in that state of bhakti. In that state, there will be no dveshti, no hatred or no enmity towards anyone. Na ramate, so no hatred. So do we rejoice? Do we rejoice for small petty things like when we get promotion, we just celebrate. When there is any function in our house or family, we just celebrate. So all these are small things, but what we experience by Parama Prema is supreme than all this. It is Amrita. It is a blissful state. So we do not rejoice anything in this materialistic world. We just keep calm. A pure bhakta, he will just keep calm, taking happiness and dveshti both as equal. So like that is the state of the true bhakta. Now, utsaho bhavati, he will not have any interest in this world. He will not be active in this materialistic world. That does not mean that he is of the tamasic nature. No, he is not a lazy person. The only thing is he lost interest in this world because this world no more can influence him. It no more can give him happiness or worry or both. It will not influence him. This materialistic world will not influence him. So he lost interest in that. When something doesn't influence us, we are not attracted by it, isn't it? So just like that, he lost attraction towards this materialistic world. And one thing is, why do we work? Why do we become active? And why are we interested in this materialistic world? Because why do we work in this world? First thing is for materialistic benefits. We need money. When we work, we get money for that. The next thing is satisfaction of work. There may be some rich people, but they too work for the satisfaction of work and for appreciation. When someone appreciates our work, we itself feel that we are worthy, or otherwise we do not know our value. Only when someone tells us that you are good, we feel that I am good. For this satisfaction and appreciation, we work and we are active in this world. And to exhaust our karmas, we cannot sit like that idly. Either we have to do some spiritual practices to wipe off our karmas, or do the karmas, only then the karmas will be removed from us, exhausted. So for that we do work. And just to pass time, what will we do like this? Just like a great proverb says, an ideal brain is a devil's workshop. We all have experienced it. So when we sit ideal like that, so many evil thoughts will come to us. It is not good for us and good for others also. So we work. But a true bhakta, a parama bhakta, by the parama prema towards Bhagavan, he is experiencing that bliss which is 1,000 times more content and gives him satisfaction than all this. These are all petty things according to him, which we consider as so great. Just like I said, only when someone gives the reward, or only when someone gives us award, many artists and many people feel that they are worthy of it. And their salary, they will increase their salary, till then they won't increase. So because they think they are not worth it. So to understand us, we need the appreciation of others. So this is the greatest irony of this materialistic world. So when a bhakta experiences complete bliss in him, automatically all these things are so silly to him, and he never goes back to this materialistic world because he experiences that bliss in him. So a great bhakta, when he shows parama prema towards Bhagavan and attaining that state of bliss, he does not desire for anything, na kinchit vanchati. He does not grieve for anything, na sochati, na dveshti. He does not have enmity or hate anyone. Na ramate. He does not rejoice also, because he rejoices in the bliss of Bhagavan. For him, what all he sees in this mundane world is just silly and petty things. No, saho bhavati. He will not be attracted by this world. This world will not influence him anymore. So this is the result of experiencing that feeling of bliss, which is the swarupa of bhakti, that is parama prema towards Bhagavan. I will continue with the next sutra in my next upload. Om Namo Narayanaaya.